The studio lights burned hot as Blake Shelton settled into his chair, boots crossed, smile easy but guarded. The applause washed over him the way it always did, familiar, warm, a ritual he'd learned to ride like a wave. He tipped an imaginary hat to the crowd, cracked a small joke about Los Angeles traffic, and for a moment the room felt loose and friendly. Joy Behar leaned forward with her cards, eyebrows arched, lips already curling into a knowing smile. The shift was subtle, but it was there, like a change in pressure before a storm. She opened with a playful jab about country music cliches, trucks, beers, heartbreak, and Blake laughed, nodding along, playing the good sport. He'd been here before. Talk shows loved the banter, and he knew how to dance. But the questions tightened. The jokes thinned out. Joy pivoted, asking about the message behind country music today, about who it speaks for, about whether artists like him understood the responsibility that came with a massive platform. Blake answered carefully, choosing words that kept the focus on songs, stories, and fans. He talked about writing from experience, about music as a bridge, not a billboard. Joy wasn't satisfied. She pressed harder, her voice rising just enough to cut through the studio hum. But silence is a choice too, she said, tapping her card against the desk. People listen to you. When you don't say anything, that says something. The audience murmured, a low ripple that crawled across the seats. Blake's grin tightened. He shifted in his chair, uncrossed his boots, and leaned forward, elbows on his knees. I came here to talk about my album, he said, still calm, still measured. I didn't come to be put on trial. Joy cut in before he could finish, waving a hand as if brushing away the point. She suggested that artists who avoided tough conversations were hiding behind fame, enjoying the benefits without the burden. The word, hiding, landed hard. Blake's jaw flexed. He glanced briefly toward the band, then back to Joy, eyes steady. With respect, he said, voice firm now, writing songs and entertaining people isn't hiding. It's my job. It's what I've done my whole life. A few claps popped up in the audience, scattered but sincere. Joy's smile sharpened. So you don't think you owe people clarity? She asked. Especially when things are, let's say, complicated. The room felt smaller. Cameras pushed in. Blake could feel the heat on his face, the silence stretching between words. He took a breath, slower than the moment demanded. I think clarity looks different to different people, he said. I think talking at folks instead of listening to them doesn't help anyone. That drew louder applause, mixed with a few sharp boos. The split was unmistakable. Joy leaned back, arms crossed, eyes flashing. That sounds like a dodge, she shot back. People want accountability. Blake straightened, the easygoing country charm giving way to something more grounded, more immovable. Accountability doesn't mean agreeing with you, he said. And it doesn't mean turning every conversation into a fight. He paused, letting the words sit. Respect goes both ways. The band leader shifted nervously. One of the co-hosts tried to interject, offering a light segue, but Joy waved it off, unwilling to cede ground. She challenged Blake's idea of respect, suggesting that avoiding direct answers was itself disrespectful to viewers. Blake's hands tightened together, knuckles whitening just a touch. He kept his voice low, controlled, but the edge was unmistakable. I've answered your questions, he said. You just don't like the answers. A gasp rippled through the audience. Someone clapped loudly. Someone else hissed. The tension was no longer simmering, it was boiling. Joy leaned in. Again, eyes locked on his. If you can't handle a little pushback, she said, maybe this isn't the couch for you. The words hung there, heavy. Blake blinked once, slowly. He glanced toward the producer's table, then back at Joy. I can handle pushback, he replied. What I won't handle is being talked over and told what I believe. The moderator finally stepped in, voice cheerful but strained, suggesting they take a breath and move on. But the moment had already cracked open. Blake leaned back, exhaled, and for a second looked almost disappointed, less angry than weary. He'd come to promote music, to laugh, to connect. Instead, the conversation had turned into a tug of war, and neither side was willing to let go. Joy shuffled her cards, lips pressed thin, and made one last pointed remark about public figures choosing comfort over courage. Blake smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Courage, he said quietly, also looks like knowing when a conversation isn't going anywhere good. The audience erupted, applause, boos, shouts colliding into a wall of sound. The cameras caught Blake standing, adjusting his jacket, nodding politely toward the hosts. He hadn't raised his voice. He hadn't insulted anyone. But the line had been crossed, and everyone in the room knew it. The lights felt hotter now, the air thicker, as producers rushed in off camera, whispering urgently. Blake took one step back from the couch, then another, the applause following him like a tide. Joy stared ahead, expression unreadable, as the show scrambled to regain control. The clash had already gone viral in spirit, if not yet online, a moment raw, unscripted, and impossible to smooth over. And as Blake waited just off stage, the question wasn't whether something had gone wrong. It was how far it was about to go.